What if the warm heart of our planet suddenly stopped beating? To fight a god of ice, humanity had to steal fire from the Earth's core. On dead seas, an unequal war was waged between steel and the eternity of ice. They built oases of life, the last citadels, suspended in a dead world. It was the moment the covenant was broken, and a new tyrant was born. For millennia, a silent god guarded the balance, a great river within the ocean. It bestowed life, shaping civilizations with its invisible warmth. A gift that humanity had taken for granted. But in the north, human arrogance was forging a sword. That sword was being forged in the very fire we created. And then, the day of judgment arrived. Nature sensed the betrayal before any machine. The covenant breaker was unleashed. Billions of tons of fresh water, a dose of poison for the current. A fatal blow. The god of warmth was poisoned. The first warnings drowned in the chaos. The planet's climate engine began to seize. The signs of the collapse appeared, undeniable. Humanity could only watch as its legacy crumbled in real time. The world's arteries of commerce began to freeze solid. The fire dragon had disintegrated. The ice tyrant's kingdom was expanding its territory. The last light of hope was extinguished. The reign of the ice tyrant had officially begun. The city of love becomes a tomb of ice. The greatest empires must bow to an older power. The symbol of unity now witnesses a world divided. The colors of life erased by a single shade of white. Civilization's network severed one strand at a time. Iron wings that once conquered the sky, now helpless against the cold. The exodus had begun, not with machines, but on foot. A cruel paradox. As the north froze, the south was drowned. The underbelly of the megacities invaded by the ocean. The tropical paradise becomes part of the angry ocean. The planet was creating new weapons, storms unknown to science. The green lungs of the planet began to suffocate. The world's food basket was poisoned. Famine was the next enemy. The greatest migration in human history had begun. Humans built walls again, even at the end of the world. Vibrant cities were now just buried memories. The wild returned, reclaiming what was lost. Humanity's knowledge frozen in time. The icon of a former energy era, now its own tombstone. The laughter was gone. Only the silent sorrow of what was lost remained. The cold had reached even places where it never existed. The greatest defensive structures became meaningless. This was no longer the world we knew. This was the tyrant's domain. Humanity returned to the Stone Age, but amongst the ruins of the Space Age. But hope, however small, was still preserved. And human intellect never yields. If they couldn't defeat the cold on the surface, they would harness the fire from Earth's core. The counterattack had begun, not with guns, but with physics and engineering. Humanity was forging its own weapon to fight a god. They weren't just trying to survive, they were trying to rebuild. A reverse Tower of Babel, piercing the earth instead of the sky. The weapon was ready. The first battle was about to begin. Humanity stood in direct confrontation with the tyrant's wrath. An artificial fire to challenge the eternal winter. They had breached the enemy's armor. A small victory, but the most important one. While some fought, others built. The last fortress of civilization was complete. They had created their own sky. Life once again sprouted from technology. To reconquer the oceans, they needed monsters of steel. A new warrior was born. A confrontation between two titans, one of nature, one of man. New roads created on a dead world. Technology was their only armor. They didn't just defend, they learned to control their enemy. Another victory for intellect. Small oases of the past built by the future. Civilization reconnected, not on the surface, but within the earth. They hadn't abandoned the old world. They were just waiting. Even at the end of the world, they never stopped looking to the stars. The flame of knowledge was kept from ever going out. They returned to where the cataclysm began, not for revenge, but for understanding. Searching for answers in the abyss. To ensure the old mistakes were never made again. The past was crushed to build the future. Memories of a warm world, passed down as legends. Art finds beauty even in destruction. Humanity was reclaiming its planet 1 square meter at a time. The war continued, but for the first time in a long time, there was hope. The war was over. There were no victors, only survivors. Humanity had adapted. They built a new civilization on the extremes. The past was now an open-air museum, a permanent reminder. The stories of the old world became lessons for the new generation. They were the last generation to remember the feeling of real rain. But life, in some way, always finds a way. A new chapter of evolution was being written in the dark. They searched for traces of the past, but found the future instead. A small signal, a negligible anomaly in a mountain of data. A heartbeat, faint, almost undetectable, but it was there. The fire dragon was never truly dead. It was only sleeping. Perhaps the planet was beginning to heal itself. But this process would take thousands of years. A future that none of them would live to see. The question isn't whether we can survive a catastrophe. The question is, after paying such a terrible price,